So it's been a super long week that I'm a little scatterbrained and I don't quite know what I want to say. Um, Not that I ever really do, but it's been very busy. So I took last weekend off, which means that that was a crazy idea. I have just been running around trying to get things done. Got about 6 different projects that all are happening at the same time and need things to be done with them. On top of me traveling 2 of the days. I was supposed to travel a third day, but that got canceled. I heard a health and safety moment today where they were going over depression, and they were like, if you're excited when things get canceled because you have less to do, and I was like, that's me. I don't think that means I'm depressed, but I love it when things get canceled, and I've got too much on my plate, which is always. So yeah, that was a fun moment. So I I was in, let's see, I was a little bit north on Monday. I went and saw 2 dams. I'm sure you can hear them doing construction across the street. I've been listening to it all day. I was at 2 dams. One of the dams, we're going to do some test borings. We're doing a design for it, and so they need more data. They're going out and doing test borings and GPR, like a downhole shear velocity, downhole televiewer. They're doing SPT tests, specific potential. I don't know what SPT stands for. It's a geophysics term. I used to know this. I don't remember. I should look that up. So we're doing basically rock coring, a bunch of tests, boreholes, and doing some design on that. So I visited that dam to make sure there was access for the driller, and I met the driller there, and I met up with the client. And then the client and I went over to another dam of theirs, which is undergoing some repairs and has been for the past year. And they experienced some huge winds. So both of the reservoirs, as I was there, the wind was so massive that it's just like throwing water over the sides of the dams, and it's just like rolling down the apron and the spillway. Which one of them is it's a low head OG. The other dam, the second dam, is a high head OG. So it's just like a couple 100-foot drop. The water goes over and just like drops a couple 100 feet, which is insane. It is so awesome to look at, but I'm always so afraid of just like falling off the edge down the dam. We were on this like little catwalk, so it's got fencing on both sides of the catwalk, and I was like holding my phone over, and it was like wind was blowing. I'm like holding onto the railing and my phone. I'm like looking over the edge, just like a couple 100 feet down. Yeah, so all the pictures, you can like see my finger kind of in the side, just like with my death grip on my phone so I didn't drop it. And it's like huge waves in the reservoir, and there's a bunch of seagulls just like hanging out in the reservoir. Can you see my cat? Just like pokes her head up. Oh, she's sitting over there. um, yeah, so I was at a couple dams, and then I sat in a coffee shop and had a phone call about a request for qualification. So for engineering, you can't, when you bid on a project, you don't bid based on lowest cost. You can't have any costs. You put together a schedule, you put together a design approach, you put together your resumes and your qualifications, and you turn that in. And so the sites or the selection criteria for hiring an engineering firm is based on qualifications, not on costs. So construction and contracting based on cost, engineering based on qualifications. So I was putting together qualifications. Actually, somebody else was leading it. I'm the PM on the project. And so we had a call about that, getting everything together. As one of those that we knew it was coming, but I have so much on my plate that I can't even stop to breathe at the moment. And I told them I don't have time to do this at all. And somebody else is going to take over it. And for some reason, her volunteering to take it on, she still didn't realize that she was taking it on completely, which I'm not quite sure where that miscommunication was, because I think the rest of us were all on the same page. We're like, yeah, you offered to do this, you're doing this. But yeah, so it's a bit messy turning in that proposal with some miscommunication. But at that same dam that we're turning in the proposal for, we had 3 other projects happening all within the same 2 weeks with the same team, and all was a full-time job. So I had 4 projects going on, and 3 of them were full-time. So I had 3 full-time projects going on at that one dam, on top of my other 2 dams, my ASR project. I had a rebid that went out, and the same day, the day before the RFQ was due, I had just so much work. Like, I tried to start typing it up yesterday, like all the things I needed to do this week, and trying to figure out how much money was riding on it from the company. And it's a lot. It was like making me nervous just to see all that stuff I still needed to do. This is probably $500,000 worth of work on all these different projects in 1 week that I was leading a lot of it, or a lot of pieces of it. And I was so stressed Monday through Wednesday. And then yesterday, when the RFQ went in, I finally took a little bit of time to just like sit back and breathe. I had client meetings all Tuesday for another project. And then all the travel time, of course, to get to these different places and then back to Austin. I had, there's so much going on, I can't even keep it straight. I have no idea how I got everything done that I got done this week. And I'm sure none of it was done well, because there was just so much to do. So then last night I sat down and was trying to come up with my priorities, is what my company is calling goal setting now, is priorities. So they rebranded goal setting. And I was thinking about my career and thinking about, I'm not really going in this technologist pathway. Like, I'm not going to be a technology professional where I've got like a part of the market that only I know how to do, or only me and a few other people are experts on, and we're like the go-to people for it. And I think that, when we had some turnover within the groundwater group, that idea kind of like went away, because we weren't getting really big groundwater projects anymore. So I've been helping out in the dams group, but I'm starting to realize that I'm helping out more on a business strategy side, more of the consulting within the company side, and less on doing the technical stuff, even though I keep trying to tell people, like, hey, I want to work on this, technical project or whatever. I think they just keep forgetting that I could do the technical work. They're like, oh, well, she does really great at this people management, or strategizing on such and such. And so I'm losing that edge of where I've got a technology that I know really well, and I really don't want to be a specialist. I like having my hands in lots of different things, and so I've been trying to figure out where I want my career to go, especially knowing that I'm totally burnt out right now. I was totally burnt out 2 weeks ago, and I can't be doing that every 2 weeks, right? And so I'm thinking about construction, and okay, construction is not really something that I enjoy doing per se. Construction management, I don't like being in construction management meetings. I don't like all of the paperwork. I don't like having, it seems like it's more fast-paced on things that are small details, and I feel like I get hung up on all these small details when there's bigger picture items out there. So I think I'm going to need to put together a plan of how to merge into this new pathway where I do some technical stuff, where I've still got these technologies that I really enjoy and I can help out with from an engineering side, but more so that I can then take the engineering and repackage it and explain it to people who aren't engineers, and do more of that, more of the social or the people skill side of it. And so I want to figure out how I can be more involved on the regional stage, and then how I can link that to the global stage. And so I've got a meeting with somebody next week who I consider a mentor, and I've asked her if she'd talk to me about career stuff, and come up with my priorities, my goals. Yeah, it's been a busy week. So busy. And on top of all of this stuff and managing, trying to keep up with my emails, I was like really aggravated at the amount of emails coming in. There was one project that at one point I was getting 8 a minute, just like coming in. Like, who can keep up with 8 emails a minute? And of course, that's happening for this project that's due today, this project that's due today, and this project that's due today. And I can only work on one project at once, or keep up with my email. So those 4 things to do, I was just thinking, like, if we all just used a Microsoft Teams, anything I was copied to can just show up on my Microsoft Teams, so when I switch over to that project, I can then read through the correspondence and work on it. And of course I get notifications coming in when things change in Microsoft Teams, so I know that some action is happening and that people are doing things on this project right now. But I wouldn't just be inundated on things that I'm just copied on, that aren't to me, that just because I'm the project manager I get copied on. So I really want to push people to start using these other virtual workspaces and collaborate in different ways, because getting so many emails a day, like 100 emails a day, is not productive. And some of them I don't answer. I don't have time to answer, and they just sit there. And finally somebody else will figure it out, or it'll get itself answered or become obsolete by the time I get to it, and so then I'll just archive the email and be done with it. But yeah, I'd like to spend a lot less time looking at my email, more time doing real work. The real work I was just finishing up here was this ONA manual. I was reviewing a section on cathodic protection, which the technologist wrote it up, so I'm sure it's technically okay. We're going to have a third person QC it, so I'm mostly just making sure it fits in with the rest of the ONA manual, and anything that they say that they need to do monthly or annually gets tracked in a different spreadsheet that has all the maintenance that needs to happen for the entire site. So I was like listening to these YouTube videos of like what cathodic protection is, and how the pipe is the cathode and it's connected to a rectifier, which is really just a source of electricity, and then that is connected to the anode, which is something that doesn't corrode very easily. It's still very confusing to me. All I know is that cathodic protection protects steel pipes, from corrosion. Hey cat, where are you going? But I was trying to figure out, is it because there's extra positive ions that's how corrosion forms, and so if you put an electron in there, it can't corrode, or I couldn't figure it out. Wikipedia was saying something about how the anode is a sacrificial metal, and so it corrodes first, and so your structure doesn't corrode. Now I'm just rambling. So, point of the story, I have no idea what cathodic protection is, but it protects pipes against corrosion. I do see sometimes when I'm like out walking around town, I'll see, a light post or something, and there'll be like a little wire that goes along and down into the ground, and I look at it, I'm like, that's cathodic protection. I don't know how it works, but apparently it works. So, I'm not gonna talk too much longer, because I need to finish some work, it turns out. Any of my 16 different projects that are all happening this week. So I think next week will be a little bit lighter. No, it won't. I'm traveling a lot. Travel just sucks it out of your week. Oh, I did buy a bunch of cameras, like security cameras around my home, so I can watch my cat when I'm away. Make sure she gets fed, and yeah, um, my place is kind of a fortress anyway, but I wanted to be able to just spy on what was happening with my cat. So I got her a new automatic feeder and some cameras, and yeah, it should be fun.